And then he moves on, and here's what happens. As you're playing at the table, 2 aces come down onto the table. Right? If you're going to play at the dealer's table, and if the house is going to potentially beat you, you've got like a couple of 2s, and then the house lays down 2 aces because the house is going to win. Now, why are those 2 aces so important? Because those 2 aces represent that there's almost in every statistical situation going to be a win on the part of the house. And here are the 2 aces that you and I can experience in our own households. And that is, they're the aces of respect and sacrifice. Respect and sacrifice. It's all about the relationship between the husband and wife in a household. And look at what he says there in verse 18. He starts talking about this first key relationship. And he says this, he says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord." Now, he says, okay, that's what I want you to know about wives. And then husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. So the first thing I want to share with you about wives is he says, submit. Now that word submit, man, it has a really high-powered, really sensitive kind of idea in our culture today, especially if you've had any experience in churches and such. The word submit is a big hot topic, and for some of us in this room who are equality oriented, man, it has a real sensitive ring to it, right? And so we've heard of people say, submit in relationships, and that makes us real uncomfortable. It makes us feel weird inside. It makes us feel like, wow, what do you mean I'm supposed to submit to my husband? That makes me feel really uncomfortable. And so I want to explain what this actually means, because this is a very misused, misunderstood word. The idea of submit, that's the thing that Paul and God says for the wife to do, is this. He's basically saying, respectfully defer. Respectfully defer. Now that's interesting, because a lot of times we hear on the one end a real weakened kind of way of stating the idea of submit, right? That everybody's equal and it's no big deal and there's no real need to submit. Well then, and just everybody just do your own thing. On the other hand, here's what we've heard a lot of is, we've heard this word be defined as subject or subordinate, or this idea of tight control. And so I think to go one way or the other is probably inappropriate. And the basic idea here is respectful deference. And so when a wife submits to her husband, here's what's happening. It's an offering. It's an offering of the talents, the gifts, the mind, the wisdom, the resources that a woman has, and she is offering them. She is giving them. This is what I have to contribute to the relationship. That's what it means to submit. And the interesting thing is about that word is this. Everybody in another book of the Bible is told that in God's economy, everybody is supposed to submit to one another. Now that's so interesting. Why would everybody be told to submit? I mean, husbands are told to submit, and wives are told to submit, and children are told to submit, and people in your small group, and people who you come into contact with who are other followers of Jesus Christ. Everybody's told, everybody has to submit. Wow, why is that such a big deal? Right? It's because submission is about a mindset of humility. It's a mindset of, I'm second, you're more important. I'm here to serve you. What can I help you with? And in God's economy too, in the household, God is a God of order. And so here's what happens if you understand and you study the Bible about who God is. Here's what you'll find. God wants things to be done orderly. And so in light of that, in a household situation, God would say, you know what? Somebody ultimately has to make decisions if decisions are to be made. And everybody gets input. Everybody matters. Everybody gets gifts and resources and talents and wisdom goes into those decisions. But at the end of the day, if there's a challenging situation, someone has to be accountable. And we see this in companies, don't we? There has to be a CEO of a company. I mean, there has to be on a team someone who's a captain who ultimately has to make those decisions. In every organization, in every unit, even in military situations, it's just a commonsensical thing that we all experience in our daily lives, that somebody has to ultimately make a final decision. And that's what this word is about, that it is about position and place and respectfully deferring in situations that are challenging, and in a daily life situation, it's giving and offering myself to you in this relationship.